Many people say that they want to write a book, yet 9 out of every 10 people who start writing a book never finish it, leaving one of their biggest dreams unfulfilled. So, what is it about the 1 in 10 people who do finish writing their book? What do they have, and what drives them to complete their books, their plays, and their songs? Welcome to the Editor's Desk, where we explore their writing experiences, their motivations, and their struggles. And now, here are your hosts, author, writing coach, and self-publishing guide, Lynn Everard, and author, Louise Gomez. Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, August 5th, August 4th, actually, at 5:30 p.m., and you are watching The Editor's Desk. My name is Lynn Everard.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Louise Gomez. Super excited to be here tonight.
Absolutely. You know, we live in a world that's filled with chaos right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
every time you look at at a news headline or see something come through on social media, there's just so much chaos. There's confusion. People are wondering, what do I do? How do I do it? There must be something better than this, something easier than this.
Absolutely.
And so, what a perfect night to have a guest who takes everything about this journey of life and is able to simplify it.
Oh, yeah. And first of all, I really love the title of the book, I have to say. I mean, how do you get such a great title? The grass is greenest where I am. I mean, it's a catchy title, and you and I, as we've written our book, we've toyed around with titles, and we know, remember? I think we changed the title of our book like, I don't know, 6 times.
Something like
Something like that. We kept trying to like fine tune it. So for me, to see a title like that, it's captivating, you know. It really caught my attention, Noah, I have to say. I'm excited we're going to introduce her in a minute, but I think it's so important to have a title that's captivating. And that, I know she did that, for sure.
Yeah, well, we actually flipped our title around. Our subtitle became our title.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, well, how about if you introduce our guest?
Well, I want to read her bio first, because she's got a lot of things going on that she's accomplished, and I want to be able to make sure that I can acknowledge that, so I can let people know what she's done. So our guest today is Noah Crane. A lot of people may know her. Noah is a life and empowerment coach, public speaker, certified integrative nutrition counselor. She's also a 500-hour Vinyasa flow yoga teacher, as well as certified in Yin Yoga and Pilates reformer. Noah is the founder of the Conscious Co-op. That's how I met Noah, actually, at the Conscious Co-op, a group of like-minded individuals who are finding connection with a mission to awaken healing and spread love and light in the world. She created this group because she believes in the power of connection, and that's the key to what we want in our lives. Together we are one, W-O-N. I love that. She says that a lot in the book. Together we are one. Absolutely love that. Her focus is on empowering people to live a happy and fulfilling life. She believes in nurturing self-care and having love towards oneself as a daily practice. Noah is committed to helping people find their unique gifts and life purpose to live a lasting impact on the world. Her mission is to lift souls to a higher consciousness, to transcend limitations, and create a life of love and light. I love that. You can find her at noahcrane.com. So welcome, Noah. We're so excited to be here, for you to be here to join us. So I really enjoyed your book. I have to say, I read it in a weekend. I read it in 2 days. And what I love the most, I feel like you did all the work and told me what to do, and for me that's what worked, you know, and so I love that. So tell us about the process and your journey. How did that come about?
First of all, I want to thank you both for having me on your show. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Okay.
That's okay.
First of all, I'd like to thank you both for having me on the show, and what a great thing to, you know,
show authors and show people that there's no limits, right? It's just what we think. And you asked me about the process of the book, or is that
Yes,
what?
yes.
Okay, so for me, it was all my own life processes. Everything that I've done very successfully in my life, I wanted to share it with other people. And I felt like I didn't want to die with that stories inside on me and with
Yeah.
everything that I've done.
Yeah.
And so I felt obligated to share my story so I can help others, because I think it's all about helping others on the journey. And one day we're not going to be here, and what are we leaving behind? How can we make this world a better place? So that was my whole point to write the book.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
want?
that's
I have another
beautiful.
question, but you can go. I don't want to hog it up. Go ahead, Lynn. I know you have questions because you
Yeah,
enjoyed it too.
Well, we both, yes. I love the book. I love the fact that it just, like I said earlier, we live in a complicated, chaotic world, and for someone to cut through all of it
Yeah.
and be able to deliver wisdom
Yeah.
in a package that is easy to digest. And easy to put to work in your life, because you provide lists and you provide steps and you provide all kinds of things that are just, to me, so helpful. You know, there are some books that people go into the exploration of the past million years, right, or whatever it is, but most of that doesn't help us live our life today.
Right.
So the fact that you're able to cut through all this stuff and give people some really helpful, positive tools, to me was just brilliant, and probably that's why I wrote so many nuggets down from your book.
I did too. I did too,
Right,
actually.
but
yes.
what was it like for you to start this process of knowing that you needed to write your book, and yet, you know, we all go through, Louise, you call them gremlins, right? Those thoughts in our mind, those doubts that we have.
Gremlins in your mind when you're like, okay, I got to finish my book and here's my goal. And then when you get to actually do it, right? It's like, did you come up with, well, I read the book, but tell us, I know you did come up with a couple of things, so share with us.
Well, it took me 20 years to write my book. The book was here in my
Yes.
head.
Yes.
I knew what I wanted to share, but the fear was
Yeah.
huge. And I don't know if you ever experienced that before. So my
definitely.
fear kept me frozen in time. It didn't let me share my purpose and you know what I wanted to bring to the world. I couldn't even be with myself. So there was a lot of self-love lacking. So even though I've done all this work and I was able to help do things for other people, I wasn't doing it for myself. So I was always running away from myself. And that's why the name of my book is called The Grass is Greenest Where I Am, because it's all about nurturing your own life and being able to see that, and not with no comparison, no competition, and no scarcity, right? Because it's so easy to look around and think everybody else's life is so much better than yours, but it's not true. So it's that inner journey that I had to take to be able to really appreciate my life and sit down and share what I've learned in this lifetime that I know would make a difference for other people.
You know, and when I read your book, you know, you want to maybe tell us a little bit about your childhood, because at the time we all go through maybe painful moments in life, but I believe years later we can reflect back and say, you know what, that was maybe a catalyst. You know, the contrast in life sometimes is the catalyst for us to be able to have a desire. So maybe you want to share a little bit about your background, your life and your journey. I thought it was fascinating. Can you share with us a little bit?
Yes, so my book is, I do share my past with it, but I do make it a very small part
Yeah,
of my
you
book
can just-
because I don't want, and I didn't want to put too much emphasis on it, right? But thank you. It's so important to know where we come from and
Yes.
to know how to. So for me, my childhood was a childhood that had a lot of chaos in it, that had a lot of fear in it, that had a lot of disappointment and sadness. I had a stepfather. First of all, I moved to this country when I was 11 years old,
Right.
from Israel. I didn't have a lot of mentors and a lot of people to go to when I had problems, because in Israel I lived in a place called a kibbutz. And a kibbutz is like a very warm, nurturing place where you have a lot of people around you, and everybody there is your mom and dad. Like you can go to anyone and get support. When I moved to this country, I no longer had that support. And so I felt like the red carpet was pulled out from underneath me.
Yeah.
And I was taken from the safe place of a home, of a kibbutz, to the streets of Chicago, basically.
Wow.
And yeah.
That
And-
was How did
it was
you feel?
it was unbelievable, and I didn't speak the language,
Yeah.
and my stepfather was both mentally and physically abusive to me.
sorry.
So it was just a lot of a lot of challenges, and there was no real good mentorship or really good guide. So it took a long time to be able to get to a place where I was able to love myself and believe in myself. And that's why the journey is so beautiful, because
agree.
it's all about that work we do within ourselves so we can get to a better place.
I love that. That's amazing. Do you want to?
Yeah, well, that's so. I have a question that I'm patiently waiting to ask, but I don't think I have any patience left, so I need to ask it. And that is that there's in your book you say the secret of having what you want is to also help others get what they want. And one of the things that I've noticed in a lot of people is that they don't know what they want. And so
good point.
how do you put them on a path to get what they want if they don't know what they want?
Right. So again, it's through my coaching. When I work with somebody, we usually work on one area in their lives, and what area they want to work out. To get to know what they want, that takes a while, right? So you have to start seeing what their background is. They have to write down what they want to focus on. It's also knowing what you don't want, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a big part of what you want. You have to know what you don't want. So I think it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But for me, a lot of it has happened through reading, through connection with other people, and through, I believe in elimination, right? So I believe in when we're able to eliminate things that are not serving our lives any longer, then we're able to get closer to the things that we want. So it's all about, for me, it's all about eliminating the distractions, eliminating those things that are not serving your life in this present moment to get closer to the things that you do want. So if that helps.
Wow.
Yeah, that's terrific because, it seems sometimes that people truly don't know what they want. And then other times it seems like they might know what they want, but they're afraid they can't have it. So then it's almost easier to say, I don't know what I want, and I'm just going to float through life and allow whatever shows up to show up. But then they're not happy with that either.
Right.
That's a great answer to that question, because it really, if it's going to take them time, it's going to take you time to work with them, to support them.
Yeah, and it comes down to choices, right? Everything is choices. Everything you have today is the choices you've made. And so it's about showing people how their choices that they made yesterday will affect their tomorrow. And that's how I've always been able to project how my life will be. I always said, okay, if I make this choice, what am I going to have in the future? So I think we have to look at that and not just be impulsive with our choices, because you make your bed and you sleep in it. Whatever you have today, you brought in. And it's never too late to change. So it's just a matter of making another choice.
And I like what you said about, making those choices. I think, I'm going to read a quote because I feel like it's going to segue into that, what you're talking about with the choices. And I love this quote. You said, "The best part of getting older is growing wiser and evolving into a greater version of who we are." And I love that, because I feel like as we get older, or I'll speak for myself, as I've gotten older, I've made better choices because of experiences in life. And so I just wanted to ask you, because culture is so fixated on youth and the exterior, how can we as women empower other women to embrace getting older and getting wiser? Because I just feel like we can make better choices. Go ahead.
Again, it comes from the inside, right? It's not, if you're going to put all the emphasis on how you look on the outside, you're going to be disappointed. Because we change. We're not going to stay the same. None of us is staying, the way we looked when we were 21, right? So it's finding that inner beauty within yourself. It's about being creative. When you're a creative person, when you're creating out in the world, then you're taking your mind off just the physical. Doesn't mean you should always take care of yourself. Always take care of yourself. I'm 57, and I've always taken very good care of myself. I'm very proud of how I look at 57. And to me, it was always important when I was in my 20s. I always thought, like, God gave me a gift. I have beauty, I have a healthy body, I have a healthy mind. How am I going to nurture those gifts that God gave me? Because it's a one-time gift. He's not going to give it to you again at 30 or 40 or 50 or 60. So take care of that gift that God gave you. So it's all about the choices we make today, what we're going to have tomorrow. So I just be, and the main thing is not to get stuck on the looks. I mean, it's good to take care of yourself and
course.
look good and feel good and dress nice, because it's important. It's you don't do it
Sure.
for anybody else, you do it for you.
Right.
But at the same time, you know, when you're who would not want to be Oprah? You know, like I would look like Oprah and be Oprah, right? Why? Because it's that confidence she has from the inside. It's no longer emphasis on, we all see her, she's beautiful. And really, everybody's beautiful, right?
Right.
It's just when I look at people and I look at anybody, I see beauty. So you have to learn to see your own beauty. And that would be the answer. Because it's not just the outside, it's your light, it's your shine, it's how you're affecting other people in the world.
I love that. And something that you said I want to touch on, you said staying creative, being creative. Because I feel like when we're in the creative phase or we're doing something creative, it takes, like you said, it takes the emphasis off of the exterior, and I think it gives us a sense of, well, I'll speak for myself, a sense of, creation, a sense of power, a sense of, confidence. So I love that.
You know, Noah, as you were answering that question, an old phrase popped into my mind.
Oh,
that-
he's
that
got a lot of
says-
these old phrases. I love
I
it. Go
know.
ahead, Lynn. He's got a lot of these ones. Go ahead.
Maybe if I say it, I won't say it again. But there's an
Oh my
old
God.
saying that said, beauty is only skin deep.
Oh, yes.
But maybe
of
what we
course.
should be saying is that beauty is soul deep.
Oh, I like that.
I like that a lot.
I do like that.
Yes. It is soul deep. And
That's a good
when
one.
when I'm with my husband, like I love my husband so much, okay? We've been married for over 26 years. And I feel like my soul loves his soul so much. And I always tell him, my soul loves your soul so much. Like the bond, you guys choose carefully who you bring into your life. Again, going back to choice, right? My life is amazing because I have an amazing support system. So no matter what the struggle is, no matter what the challenges are, it never stops, right? The challenges and struggles never stop. But when you have a soft place to fall, when you have somebody that adores you and you adore them, and the bond is so strong, and it's a soul bond, right? It's not just a physical bond, it's a soul connection. Be around people that you have a soul connection with, because that is what makes it last forever.
I so loved how you brought up your husband and the story of how you met and how you have such a soul connection with him. And I love that. It was beautiful, inspirational, beautiful part of your story, how you really, like you said, the soul connection. So that's great.
Best choice I ever had, ever
Aw.
made. Best choice ever
I'm
made
sure
in my
if
life.
you were here, you'd be
Number
saying
one
the-
choice.
saying the same thing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You know, I was having a conversation with someone earlier today, and we were talking about the physical aspect of life or the body, but it's really interesting because when someone passes to the other side, it's not their body we miss, it's their personality. It's that life force that's coming through their personality that just helps us feel more alive ourselves to be interacting with them. And yet, everywhere you look, we're being convinced that we have to look better and we have to be, better. We have to have a better body, and we've got to do this and we've got to do that.
Well, that's like social media. It's,
Right. But it's like when you think about
Yeah.
what would you really miss about that person when they were gone. If you truly love them, then you'd miss that life force that emanated from them that also made you feel more alive. Right? I mean, that's such a beautiful thing.
Yes, and when you love someone, they're so beautiful to you anyways. My husband to me is the most sexiest man alive. So that's
I
how I
love
see
it.
him. Like to
Of
me,
course.
I look at him and I'm like, I love everything. And it doesn't matter how much muscles he has or anything. It's just I love the whole package,
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
So I had another quick question. I know that you and I, Lynn, we've talked a lot about we live in a destination addicted society, right?
Right.
Like everybody wants, like we all want like the end result. We want it now, and I'm guilty of it. I'm not saying everyone else. I'm including myself.
Right, absolutely.
You know that I'm all, but I'm learning to really embrace the journey. I really am. I think my personality has always been the bottom line. I got to get there, and I'm really learning. And so one of the quotes you said in your book, really, I loved it. because it spoke to my soul. And you said, the journey is not about the end result, but rather about the love you spread along the way. So can you help us to talk about, like, how can we help others to see that and to really activate that, you know?
Well, I think we all have to be an example of that. For me, I used to really hide from the world. I still hide in a lot of ways, and I have to fight that. We all have a certain way of being, and for me, in 2022, I need to gain visibility and get out in the world and share myself, because I realize there's so many people who need me, just like there's so many people who need you. Like, the world needs us. Each one of us is unique, beautiful, and we all have unique gifts to share with the world. So, wait, can you repeat the question one more time?
Well, my question is, how can we help others to really share, like,
That's what I was gonna
to
say.
that, you know, to really
got it.
embrace the journey, right?
Right. So I believe that everything's energy, right? Everything
Yes.
is energy. Whatever you put out comes back to you. So for me, I spread love because I want to have love in my life. It's kind of selfish, all right? But I want to have love. So
Yes.
if I want to have love, I better give the love,
Right.
And so when I used to work at Whole Foods, I used to, like, take little jobs and hide away from the world. I would never be thinking that I'd be sitting here with you talking.
Wow.
And I used to work at Whole Foods, and people would come in to buy vitamins, and I literally would see myself just wrapping them with love, just wrapping them with love. And it made me feel so good, because, like, they would come in there with questions and they want support, and you just feel that, like, everybody needs love and compassion. We all want love and compassion. And the more we give it out, the more we get to have it. And the more connections we have, the more people will support us and help us along the journey. So the more we do for others, the more others will do for us. And it's getting out of our own way is always, like, the most difficult part. I still want to hide.
I know,
And I'm
me
not
too.
always I'm
I
not
get
always
it.
out there sharing myself with people, and I need to do more of that. I actually did my first, like, reel last night.
Oh,
like,
good for you.
a reel, yeah, where I
Congratulations.
spoke and want
Nice.
people to get to know me better. But it's all about, not playing small anymore, and giving the love that you want, because everything is energy. We know that.
We do. I love that. You're not playing small anymore, because you have so many gifts to share with the world. I mean, reading your book, and then now I'm seeing there's a Love and Light journal. I'm like, oh, geez, I got to do this journal. It's amazing. But if you have another question, you can, because at the end I want to read. I want to share this quote because it's amazing.
So I didn't write this down, but it was something that stuck with me, and I didn't have to write it down. And that is that in your book you talk about learning to, or beginning to realize, the impact we make on others. And I think most of us are so worried about that we won't make an impact on others, or that nobody sees us, or whatever that might be. And when you think about it, we make an impact on people all the time. So when you talk about becoming visible, right, putting yourself out there, it creates another opportunity to be able to make an impact on others, which is really part of why we're doing this, because I'm a Y certified coach, and so Louise and I have exactly the same why, how, and what. And our why is contribute, which means we want to make a difference in the world. We want to make an impact. We want to be able to support people in living their best life.
And we can't hide anymore, for, like she said, if we want to do that.
Yeah, and that's what this show is for us.
Yes, to make an impact.
Helping other people be seen, so that we all together can make an impact on those who are watching.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and inviting guests who've done the work. I know I read in your book, you've done Landmark, you've had coaching, you've done so much work. I know just from reading your book, I'm like, I know you've cleared those cobwebs. I know it's a daily practice we all get to do, but I know you've done a lot of the deep work. And so, you get to share your energy with the world. So I'm glad you're doing reels and you're doing that, because we wanted to continue to share
and that deep work really shows in your book. I mean, I think that's the thing is people are looking for answers, and
especially now. I mean, coming after the pandemic, 2020, all this stuff, now more than ever. The rates of, especially, like, therapists and psychologists, young kids, everybody. So it's so needed right now in the world, you know, what you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, we all are doing our part, and that's what makes it so beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
I want to read this quote because it's so awesome. You are not your past. You are not your stories. You are not your judgments. You are not what you own. You are not what you do. You are not your problems. You are the light that shines in the world. Connect to your light and shine. Noah Crane. I love that quote because it's so significant, because in the world we always get connected to who we think we are, right? But you were able to share that we're not that.
Thank you. And you know, it's all from God. I have a very strong connection to God, and I feel like God channels things through us, and he brings us to where we are, and we just have to believe. We have to believe in ourselves, and you know, and know that we're so much more than our physical. We're so much more than everything else that society tells us we are. You know, we are really this beautiful energy and this beautiful light, and that's what is most important to me, is to shine that light.
I know, because she says it a lot in the book, shine your light, love and
Yes,
light. I'm like,
absolutely.
yes, that's what it is. We get to, I think when you have an open heart, I believe, she has an open heart, that's where you can channel, like you said, channeling God through you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Noah, what, like, is there one nugget that maybe you talked about it in your book and maybe you didn't, that you'd like to share with our audience? And also, I know you've got a jewelry line
Oh, yes.
that maybe
Tell
you'd
us.
like to talk about for a moment.
Yeah, so I would love to talk about that because that's what I'm currently doing. So I released this beautiful jewelry line called the 3G Effect. And the reason it's called the 3G Effect is because I believe, and through the work that I've done in my life, is that there are 3 very important things that we need to do on a daily basis to live our best life. And they've worked for me, and that's why I'm sharing it with the world. The first thing is to have a grateful heart. When you're grateful, when you're heart-centered and you have a grateful heart, and you notice every day the things that you're grateful for, then it makes your life flow so much more easily forward. You're more connected to the present moment, and more connected to yourself, and more in a place of abundance and love and light and connection, and that's where we want to be. The other G stands for being grounded, because we all need to be grounded in love and compassion. First, being grounded in love and compassion for yourself, and then sharing that love and compassion with others. So I always say, send a heart emoji to somebody you love, because whatever you put out will come back to you. No words needed, just keep putting out that love. And the third G stands for growing and transforming yourself to become the best version of you. So how are you growing and transforming yourself every day? What new actions are you taking to become a better person? What are you doing that you've never done before? It's not about staying the same or stagnant. It's about changing, shifting, and recreating yourself. And so that's what I talk about with my jewelry line. It's just a reminder for people and the 3G Effect message in the world, because we all need reminders to keep doing that inner work, to keep doing that inner work to create that outer world that we truly want.
Right. Well,
I
that's
love that.
fabulous. Noah Crane, thank you so
Thank
much for being our
you.
guest this week. And next week, we are going to have author Michael Solomon,
Oh, yeah.
who wrote a book called Under the Divi Tree that is a metaphysical, medical romance novel, and you will not want to miss that show.
That's going to be great. Thank you, Noah. I appreciate you
Thank
coming.
you so much. This
Thank
was
you.
awesome. Wish you
Thanks
guys
for
a lot of
Sharing.
success.
Thanks for sharing your love and light.
Yes.
Thank you.
And with that, we will say goodbye
Yes.
until next week.
Till next week. Thank you. Even if you have never written a book, you are still an author. In fact, we all are. In every moment, each of us is writing our own unique story that we call our lives. Because many of us are, as in the lyrics of the Dan Hill song, Sometimes When We Touch, writers still trapped within our truth. If this is you, why not start writing your thoughts in a journal? It will help you get your truth on paper and could just be the start of your own book. And don't forget to join us here every week for the next edition of The Editor's Desk.